Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Criminally, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, 3 5-star reads. It's my weekly wrap-up. So yes, I've had a very good reading week this week. 4 books read and 3 of them were absolutely amazing. And the 4th one was pretty good too. So I will talk about those in this video today. I will also talk about what's been on the channel and what's coming up on the channel. But before I do any of that, I wanted to do a quick t-shirt check. So today I'm wearing my new Occult Detective magazine t-shirt, ready for Occult Detective October. So Occult Detective magazine is a fantastic magazine that publishes fiction and non-fiction about occult detectives. So well worth checking out if you like that kind of thing. I'll leave a link to their website in the description for the video. I also wanted to mention before I start, because I always forget to, my Patreon. So I run a Patreon service which you can subscribe to get additional content from me. Should you want additional content, you may well not. So I do pretty much daily kind of mini videos where I talk about what I'm reading. We have a monthly book club, all sorts of different things, including merch. So for example, you can get these mugs in one of my Patreon tiers, and there's different perks at different tiers. So there's a Criminally mug and also a Criminally bookmark that you can get, which features me. Let's see if I can get it in the book correctly. Features me poking out of the top of your book as you read it to startle other people on the bus or wherever. So yeah, I thought I'd mention that because I always forget to. So if you go into the description for any of my videos, there's a link to my link tree, and in there's a link to my Patreon. Also wanted to give a quick update on the Garbology, so the Garb August anthology that I'm going to be publishing with Troy Tradup next August. So we are open for submissions, as I've said on the channel before. If you fancy trying your hand at writing a trashy short story, then you can do that. And again, in the link tree, which is linked in the description for the video, you'll find details of the submission guidelines and things like that for the Garbology. We've had more than 10 submissions now, so it's been a really busy week. We've had quite a few come in this week, so really looking forward to reading those fairly soon. I think Troy and I were discussing we may wait until January after the submission deadline has closed before we read any of them, or we may, if we get absolutely tons, we may start reading them before then. But really looking forward to it anyway. Right, so let's talk about books then. So the first book to talk about is The Whistling by Rebecca Netley, which was my Patreon book club pick for September. So wasn't fantastic, but it was a lot of fun. So it's a good, creepy, supernatural type story about a young woman who's a governess, as young women often are in stories like this, who goes to this old house. There's a young girl who she's looking after who can't speak. There's clearly some kind of creepy backstory going on, and as the book progresses, she gradually unravels that mystery. So it has some fun mystery elements, some fun kind of supernatural elements. It was just a good, entertaining ghost story type read overall. Not brilliant, but definitely a fun diversion. So let's get on to the 5-star reads then. So 3 5-star reads this week. So the first one was Once Were Warriors by Alan Duff. So this was very kindly sent to me by a subscriber, Justine, a while ago. This was really good. So this is a New Zealand novel. So Alan Duff is an Indigenous New Zealander. Just a fantastic book about the experience of being an Indigenous person in New Zealand. So really bleak, beautifully written. So written in a very kind of colloquial, almost stream of consciousness at times kind of style. It doesn't really have a plot. It's more a series of events that happen to this group of characters, but incredibly powerful. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Then read Tell Me I'm Worthless by Alison Rumfitt. So this book, sorry, I've got to say, so Shorty September running at the moment, the reading event where you read shorter books. So this was for the half and half prompt for Shorty September. So I need to watch the movie based on this, which is also supposed to be excellent. This one was for the Pedro Pascal shorts prompt, which was the unexpected purchase. So I came across it in a bookshop a while ago. I'd heard about it, heard it was good. and so bought it, and it was amazing. So this is a horror story, again, kind of a haunted house story like The Whistling, but very different in style and tone. So about two women who've gone through a very traumatic experience in a haunted house and how it comes to affect their lives. One of the women is trans, one of them is cis, and they were friends, and that experience has led to them not being friends anymore, and being on kind of opposite sides of the trans rights debate. So a really interesting examination of kind of the culture war that is going on in our society at the moment, but also a really, really good horror story. Some really effective kind of experimental writing at times. I thought it was really, really great, and I will do a review of this at some point. Also read, so the next 5-star read then was Johnny Got His Gun by Dalton Trumbo, which again, I'm sure this was sent to me by a subscriber ages ago, and I'm afraid I can't remember who it was, but it was brilliant. So a famous anti-war book written in the 30s about this soldier who's been like very badly injured in the First World War and is basically in hospital, unable to see or speak or hear, and it's just his inner consciousness basically. Incredibly powerful. I mean, that sounds like it would be hard to fill a whole book, and this is like a 250-page book, but Dalton Trumbo did a fantastic job with it. Really very, very powerful and moving, and again, I will do a full review of this at some point. So thoroughly enjoyed that. So yeah, 3 5-star reads, which is amazing for 1 week's worth of reading. So a very, very good week. In terms of what's up next then, so I've got a couple of buddy reads queued up for this week. So The Hollow Kind by Andy Davidson, which I'm reading with Sammy, one of my patrons, and The Glass Cell by Patricia Highsmith, which I'm reading with Anne from the channel Anne Novella, so looking forward to both of those. And I've also got this one, which I think I'm going to try and read for Shorty September, so The Lost Weekend by Charles Jackson, which is supposed to be another fantastic but very bleak book, and certainly all 3 of those 5-star reads this week were very, very bleak. So I don't know if I can take another really bleak book, but we shall see. In terms of channel stuff then, so I forgot to mention last week, and you may have noticed or you may not have, I've started doing more shorts. So I've started doing a daily short video. So shorts being YouTube's version of like TikTok basically. So, very short form videos, less than a minute. So I've started doing those where I talk about a random book from my collection, from my library every day. So look out for those if you haven't seen them so far. As I say, there's one every day. They go up 8 AM UK time. So yeah, those have been quite fun to do. I've quite enjoyed doing those, and people seem to be quite enjoying them too. So other stuff you've had on the channel this week then. So you had a review of Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle, a new horror book, which I quite enjoyed. You had a book haul video where I showed loads of vintage books that I bought recently, particularly kind of men's adventure type stuff. I finally did my Garb August wrap-up video where I talked about the 40 books I read during August, so that one does go on a bit, so make a cup of tea before you watch it if you haven't seen it yet. And I also did a video about book formats, so why I think we love paper books so much. So that was quite interesting, and at least one person, so Joanna from the channel Joanna Reads, did a really interesting video in response to that, talking about how different book formats affect our comprehension and things like that in reading. So a fascinating video, well worth watching, and I'll link it in the description to this video. So in the week ahead then, a few different things planned. So I'm doing the BookTube anniversary tag, that will go up tomorrow. So today, in fact, is the 2nd anniversary of the channel. So yeah, the channel is 2 years old today. I never thought it would last 2 months, let alone 2 years. So thank you very much for everyone who watches my videos. It's a pleasure to make them and to engage with all of you in the comments and things like that. So I've got that going up tomorrow. I've got a review of Bag of Bones by Stephen King going up. I'm going to do an October TBR video, so talking about all the books I'm going to be reading in October. And then I've got a special video going up, which is a preview of a new anthology called Enter Boogeyman that's coming out on Kickstarter in October. So I was approached by the publisher of that anthology a little while ago, and they asked me if I'd like to partner up in terms of publicising it. So that video was a lot of fun to do. I'm reading that anthology at the moment and it's fantastic. So you will see a full review of that anthology in the first week of October on the channel. But yeah, I got access to some clips of writers who've contributed to the anthology, talking about their stories, and those are in that video as well. So Ramsey Campbell is in a video on this channel, which has completely blown my mind. Of such a huge admirer of Ramsey Campbell's work. To have him in one of my videos is incredible. So yeah, look out for that coming this week as well. So yes, that's what's been on the channel in the last week and what's coming up, and that's what I've been reading as well. So do let me know in the comments what you've been reading. Hope you've had good reading weeks too. And as always, thanks very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.